Are your walls plain and boring? Is your roof arguably even more boring? Today, I'm here to show you exactly how to fix that. I'm going to show you how to texture your walls and roofs in Minecraft. So to start out, we're going to start with a plain oak wall. So it doesn't matter how ugly your house is, texturing it will always fix it. So obviously there's tons and tons of blocks you can use. I picked out a couple right here. Now if we just grab these, obviously you can see the brown mushroom block is much darker. So you would use that, say if you had like an overhang, you could use this as like a shadow or a shaded block, but that's really up to you. But otherwise you could just, go around and sprinkle in, put things on their side, like the bookshelf. Like this way it wouldn't work, but if you put it like this way, it adds a little bit of ridges, if you will. And beehives work great, and you can just have at it and just texture your wall however you want. Maybe like add some shading in the corners, and you always want the lighter blocks. Like right here, they're all the same shade. For some of the future walls I'm going to show you, there will be like lighter colors and darker colors that you would use, in a lighter spot and a darker spot, obviously. You can make it look too cluttered. Like, in my opinion, this is too cluttered. So I might, get rid of that. Maybe move the bookshelf like here. Something like that. So it's not cluttered, but it has texture and it draws your eyes to it more. The second type of wall we've got is stone. Now stone is kind of tricky because just by looking in the creative menu, I found a lot of things you can use as stone texturing. The main one I use is light gray wool, andesite, cobblestone, and tuff. Now this is what I was talking about. Obviously you would use the light gray wool in a lighter area, probably like a top corner, and then the tuff you would use in like a bottom corner or somewhere that would be shaded. But obviously there's a lot more. You can use like dead coral, stone bricks. You can use all the dead corals. They all kind of resemble cobblestone in a way. So if we just add like a bit of texturing here, just a bit of that, then the wall already looks 10 times better. But now, like I said, you can use like the coral blocks to be like different types of cobblestone to kind of bring out maybe older types of rocks, and just like that you can make your wall look like a million times better. After this, we've got diorite. Now I know a lot of people don't like diorite, but personally I kind of like diorite. It's not that bad of a block. I wouldn't use it for walls, but to each their own. So diorite, obviously we can use polished diorite, iron, quartz, powder, and calcite. The biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this video is to not think of the blocks as materials, but as colors. Because I know that's like the main thing that I do. Is obviously you wouldn't use like an iron block in your wall, but if you just think of it as white, then it'll match. Obviously you wouldn't use concrete powder in a build, but if you think of it as like a very white, you could use it in the corners here as like the light. You can use quartz as like kind of a darker, and then polished diorite as like texture. So this you might want to, the iron you might want to put closer to the powder, and the quartz you'd put closer to the bottom. Calcite, and just like that, like it doesn't look too cluttered, but it's got enough different colors. Maybe you could add like a piece of calcite down there, that it doesn't look bad. Like you could put this on the side of like a, I don't know, like a spaceship build or something, or like a big space station, and it would look fantastic. After that, we've got granite. Now again, I don't know why you would make a wall out of granite, but I'll show you anyways. So for this one, I could really only, in a limited time, I could really only find a couple, which was polished polished granite, bricks, and pink terracotta. Now, pink terracotta you gotta kind of be careful with because it's not too similar, but it works. So, you know, you can go around and dot in some polished granite and some bricks, maybe as like a darker, or the pink terracotta you kind of have to put with the bricks. So, I won't just stick it anywhere. They kind of have to be with the bricks. So, you know, if you do something like that, it automatically makes the granite wall look much better and, you know, appealing to the eyes. And then we've got soul sand. Now, obviously, I don't think anybody's making their house out of soul sand, but this is more, remember, like I said, it's not about the material, it's about the color. So this would be for like the color brown. Obviously, you can use these kind of blocks with any brown block. So I just went out and picked out soul soil, mangrove roots, muddy mangrove roots, mangrove wood, and brown wool. So obviously the brown wool will be like lighter, and you know, you can use the mangrove wood to kind of blend it a bit. The mangrove roots are, you know, see-through, so you might want to put maybe a bit of soul sand behind it. And maybe underneath it too. But it works. And then, you know, obviously since they're like the same block, like all the other ones, you can use this one and just place it anywhere, just to break up the soul sand texture. The muddy mangrove roots is more of like a darker block because it's got a bit of black in it. If you just go around and add some brown related items, you know, obviously maybe not for this, the brown wool wouldn't work, but you can use something similar. You could probably just use like brown terracotta could work. So now, you know, this started out as a soul sand wall, and now it is a textured soul sand wall, and it looks pretty decent actually. And finally, for the walls, we've got warped, or any type of this, you know, dark bluish, you know, aqua, cyan, if you will. And I picked out a couple actually for this. So you can use, you know, dark prismarine, oxidized copper, you know, obviously stripped warped, prismarine bricks, prismarine, and light blue wool. Now, the light blue wool is kind of tricky, and you kind of have to have a bigger palette, like a bigger wall, you know, to actually like blend it in. Like, I don't think on this wall you'd be able to get it too well. Maybe. But for this, we're not going to use the blue wool. It's an option if your wall is bigger than this. But for this small wall, it's not really a good example. So just like the other ones, the block that is, you know, similar to it, you can use as just like a texture for anywhere. And then you can go and add like the lighter colors in the lighter spots, and obviously the darker colors in the darker spots. You know, you can do something like that, and it makes it look pretty nice. Pretty textured, it draws your eyes to it, but it's also not too cluttered, at least not in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, they're your walls and you can do what you want, and I encourage you to make your own designs. Now onto the roofs. Now I took this house from my last video, and I just got rid of the roof, and I'm going to show you how you can add a roof. I'm not going to go into the different types of roofs today. That's going to be a different video, but I'm just going to go with the standard stairs roof. So you can go with like a red palette, you know. You want to make sure that you do the, if you're doing ones with these kinds of blocks that don't have stair variants, you want to make sure you do the outer layer with a block that has stairs. So for this one, let's go with mangrove, and then, you know, we'll grab these 3 blocks. We'll grab the bricks too. So for this, we're just gonna go along the outside only, and, you know, we can do like a little peak right there. Alright, so now that we've got the, you know, outline of the build, what we're going to do is on the inside go along with blocks. Now what I like to do is I like to do one color first, or one block first. So let's just do like all stripped mangrove. Now, obviously, you can do, you know, stairs on the inside too if you're doing a block that has a stair variant. You don't have to use blocks. The blocks typically look better in the roofs when you're doing a roof like this. So, you know, we can 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then, you know, put like a thing in the middle. So now we can go back and add like, you know, netherrack in like the dark places, or the darker places, and then red terracotta where, you know, maybe the sun would be hitting a bit brighter. The next roof is personally one of my favorites, which is dark oak and moss. Now, this one you typically do have to do a special roof, but it's possible to do any of these roofs just with, you know, the stair roof. So now that we got the outline of dark oak, and we can go on the inside with moss. You can, of course, make your own designs on the top. So now we've got the moss. Though what's really cool about this type of roof is different types of plants. So you can, you know, go along and bone meal the roof, you know, get some tall grass on there, maybe, you know, put some leaves, hang them off the side of the house. And you can, of course, go around and texture this how you like, you know, put moss carpets and, you know, all that fun stuff. You can, of course, texture it like this with some, you know, green related blocks. And just by, you know, adding a little bit of that, it suddenly went from just a plain single block green roof to, you know, being a really cool, you know, mossy house that, you know, you could totally impress your friends with. The next house we've got is one that I've actually done before in one of my challenge videos, which was just a blue and red, which, you know, is a very abstract colors, but that's what Minecraft is. It's a sandbox game, so why not? If you were wondering which building video it was this one, where I built the windmill and this little fantasy house. And as you can see, I outlined it in warped wood and did the inside with mangrove. Let's outline it in red and do the inside of blue, just to make it different from the other build. So now we've got the outline, and now we can, you know, since this has a stair variant, we don't need the block. So we can just, you know, do the inside with warped wood. And just like that, we've got this little cotton candy style, you know, weird colors, which you can, of course, do with whatever. You could do, you know, purple and yellow, you know, orange and green, and, you know, as long as you do it right, it should work. And you could, of course, texture this, you know, by putting some dark prismarine. Always works like that. And finally, we've got the warped and dark prismarine. Now, I do really like this one, and I actually just used it in my last challenge video, which was to build a kingdom. I used this, which is you just basically just outline it in dark prismarine, and now you fill in the inside with warped wood or blocks, and just like that, you've got a pretty nice, you know, a nice roof to your house. Unfortunately, that's all we got time for today. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe, because it's cool and you're cool and I'm cool. I will be back to make another video similar to this one in the future, and I hope to see you there. With that said, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.